Hi there, guys. It's Erik here from the Building My Freedom Business podcast. Welcome and thank you so much for listening. Today's guest is Tiina Wilen from tiinawilen.com. And Tiina, she helps visionary leaders and SME and SEOs develop strategic business assets that increase profits, impact, and joy. By the way, if you want to connect with me or maybe other listeners, please go to facebook.com/Building My Freedom Business and join the group. Enjoy the interview. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, I want to welcome Tiina all the way from, are you based in Finland at this moment, Tiina?
No, I'm actually based in Sweden.
You're based in Sweden. Oh,
yes.
Okay. Good. And therefore I pronounce your name Tiina because you are from?
Helsinki, Finland.
Helsinki, Finland. So I'm going to do my best, but I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for taking the time to be a guest on the Building My Freedom Business podcast.
Thank you.
Really curious to hear your journey, your story about what you currently do, your business, and many other things that we're going to dive into.
Yeah, thank you, Erik. This is super exciting.
Yeah, it's a topic I think that we both love. We love our business, and from our pre-chat, I got a real clear picture that you are someone who has plenty of ideas and many things on the go, which is super exciting. But what I would love to ask you is, could you please tell the listeners and tell me a little bit about sort of your background story of, who were you before you were an entrepreneur, or have you always been an entrepreneur? How did you end up your business, building the businesses where you are now? And after that, I will ask you a little bit more about your current business. But what would you like to share with us to give us a bit of a background story?
Oh, thank you. So I don't know if I always was an entrepreneur. I'm definitely not born in an entrepreneur family, so we didn't have that kind of family background and but when I went to high school, after high school, I decided that I want to move away from Helsinki, away from Finland. So I decided I wanted to go to Sweden. Do you want to know why I wanted to go to Sweden?
I thought I will wait till you finish talking and then I will ask, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I have an official and unofficial. The official is to study, and the unofficial is that Swedish guys are really good looking. So I wanted to come to Sweden because of the boys. Anyway,
okay.
so I moved to Sweden, was supposed to stay here for about 6 months, learn Swedish, and now 20 plus years later, I'm still here, married to a very handsome Swedish guy, and we have, of course, handsome tiny kids as well. So I went to university, Uppsala University, which is the oldest university in Scandinavia, and started engineering. So I did IT engineering, bachelor in business, and was really going into the IT bubble, IT consulting space. I started there. I moved to Shanghai to do my thesis work. And when I come back from Shanghai, I think this was 2007, I just went to work in the IT space and I really liked it. So, I've always studied technology. I like technology. I love that. Got into strategy, got into project management, process management, and was, doing pretty well and had really great opportunities. Until at some point, I recall that I just felt like, this is all interesting, super fun, well paid, but I don't know. I think I have to do something else. And then with my then boyfriend, now husband, we actually went on a long journey to US. This was our first trip to US. Pre-kids, went on coast to coast, traveling, had the biggest car you can ever imagine. And that car was, hang on, sorry, my kid is coming.
That's okay.
I'm in your office. Sorry, they wanted to have ice cream.
No problem whatsoever. That's
5 kids in the house. So anyway, so we went coast to coast. And somewhere when we landed, I think it was in LA, we started talking about, my husband was like, well, my boyfriend then,
Yeah.
So what would you like to do? Like I had a blog at that time that was in Intern Design. I loved blogging. That was my hobby. And that was really interesting because as somebody who likes technology and also loves design, I just wanted to create a blog, and that was my hobby for many years,
Yeah.
even before this. So I started kind of talking about like, well, you know, I'd like to maybe create a lifestyle collections of some sort, some interior decor. I would like to go into that. And he was just like, okay, do it. And then I could not stop talking about it. I could not stop thinking about it. And he was just like, do it now. So I went home. We actually registered my company while we were in the US. So just online registered my company. Okay, now what? Got back home from the trip and decided that I'm going to start building some kind of a interior design company. But I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know what exactly that would become. And then quite soon thereafter, we found out that we were expecting our first child. So it was really more of a hobby. But then a few years later, a few babies later, a few houses that we renovated, built, you know, flipped later, and all that fantastic chaos that you go through when you have babies and all that. We just decided that first we wanted to leave Stockholm behind. We were living in the capital, so we wanted to leave Stockholm behind. We moved to a beautiful place just about 1 hour away from Stockholm. We built a house here, and we also figured out that it doesn't make any sense that we would go to Stockholm for work, both of us particularly. So then I said, okay, so I'm gonna stay at home and I'm going to focus on building my business. And that time that was that interior design, interior decor, home decor business. So that was kind of how I got started, but that's not what I do today.
No, so tell me a bit about, you know, because I in our pre-chat you told me that that business started, your first business, around 2015. Am I correct?
15, I went full time. Yeah, so 2015. Yeah.
So, but currently you're running a different business. So, can you tell me the name of that business? And I think you have a specific program there called the Avenue Growth System. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about, you know, I assume that growth system is solving a problem for customers. So can you tell us a little bit more about your current business?
Absolutely. So it was actually got started by a little bit of an accident, because when I was growing my home decor business, we got a lot of publicity, and yes, we got a lot of customers too. So we were growing it to multiple countries, 17 countries, through all kinds of partners and distribution channels and wholesale and but that time also there was this thing called social media. So obviously you got a lot of visibility and so on. So I started getting questions from other creatives or other people who were doing the corporate, and they wanted to do something creative because they were very intrigued by the fact that somebody who had been working in the IT finance industry with my background, which is in engineering, would start and home decor business and get so much publicity and get it off the ground. So I started getting these questions. Some people asked me like, could you help me? And I said, sure, I can help you. I mean, I used to do consulting a lot, like it wasn't anything new. I just didn't have any really thoughts about that I would do that later on. But so I packaged a package. I'm a service, I've been in service packaging for a long time before that, so it wasn't difficult for me to create a package, put a name on it and a price tag and a system, how it works, and sell it. So that's what I did. And that thing didn't really have, and it wasn't called Avenue, but after I had been doing that for a moment, and then also during that time, I started feeling that, listen, I love being an entrepreneur. I love the freedom. I love the creative process. And I absolutely love marketing and branding and everything that I get to do. But I just did not love my business anymore. And I definitely didn't love my business model. That was physical goods, inventory, logistics, all that. So I started feeling really resisting, and like I did not want to deal with that business anymore. And that was a sign for me that, hang on, if the owner, the founder, you know, the CEO, the one who was going to, you know, lead the ship, if she or he is not, doesn't want to turn up to work and do the work, something is really wrong. So I spent quite a bit of it, I think it was 2017, and really thinking about like, oh dear, what now? I have made so much investments. I've been like, you know what, you build something, you climb and climb, and it's not only this beautiful story of having lots of freedom, and you know, when you get started, I'm sure you can relate to this. There's a lot of things that you need to do. And even though it was fantastic for me to stay at home and be close to the family life, it was still a lot of the time was taken away from my babies, because I was always thinking and building my business. So it felt horrible to say to myself and tell my husband and like, listen, I don't know if I want to do this thing that I've been kind of pushing here so hard. So I had a quite big identity crisis. Also, I had these questions about, did I fail? You know, like what's this? So anyway, I started getting these questions, and then 2018, I decided, you know, I love this. I love coaching. I love consulting. People come to me because they really need to have my guidance. They need to have my guidance since, you know, of the, because I have this also experience in being in the IT industry and building huge systems and processes and all kinds of big business stuff, but also the small business stuff. So I figured I'm just going to keep doing that, and I will deal with my previous business later. I didn't really have a plan for it. I just decided to basically stop doing that. Now later on, we did had a plan. We sold the stock, and you know, all this inventory was gone, and so it was okay. But so yeah, so that's how I got into coaching, consulting, advisory, and that's how Avenue was born. And
Avenue is the name of the new company.
yeah, well, Avenue, we are located at a site called Avenue for Growth, and we have a system called Avenue Growth System, and this is a system for visionary entrepreneurs who want to take their ideas, take their experience, their knowledge, skills, and put it into a concept that sells. And those concepts could be, well, the concept itself is the business concept, but then we have different type of products that they sell. Many of them sell physical products, many of them sell services, and most of our customers actually, they sell different things. So they also have, you know, services, products maybe connected to the services or vice versa. So what I love to do is to guide them through the whole kind of at the beginningest level, which we call the essentials. It's very much about trying to find the one product that you're going to go out to the market with. And then like a real engineer, so we put together a sales system, a really efficient sales system that is selling that thing so you can get off the ground. And then comes marketing, then comes branding, then comes everything else. But if you don't get those things rolling, you won't have a business. So that's why we're super focused on getting the offer right, getting the product right, at least like to get started right, because we know that that product will change later on. But and be super specific on focusing on the sales, which PS is super scary for most people. So that's why it's called the Avenue. It's really a journey. We work with our clients a long time. We help them on different levels and the next level where they get to with all the, you know, things that business modeling, when they get to when they start scaling up and so on. So that's what we do. Yeah.
All right. And I heard you mention the essentials, and I think I noticed that you're planning to publish a book or come out with a book somewhere at the end of this year.
Yes,
Of
yes,
the
I am.
essentials, and am I right in assuming that part of that book is explaining this avenue growth system?
Absolutely. It's actually all about the system. So
Okay.
this book is not it's not about me, it's not about my personal journey. This book is part one of the system. So it is a very practical book. It's basically a handbook, but of course with stories and also strategies to understand how to implement those. But it is a handbook for anybody who is looking to take their ideas and put together these systems and get started with the companies.
So remind me again of the website if people want to just learn more about the avenue growth system.
Yeah, they can go to avenuegrowthsystem.com if they want. That's where they can learn more about the system. If they want to look at everything that we're doing, blogs
Yeah.
and podcasts, they can go to avenue4growth.com.
Fantastic. All right. Tiina, you know that the title of this podcast is called Building My Freedom Business. If you hear the phrase freedom business, what does that mean to you?
It means that it means for me to have a freedom of doing what I want, where I want, when I want, with whom I want, and just do things my way.
Do think.
Yeah, so for example, time wise, I like to not to work too much. Now I used to, now I don't need to, because we build systems and assets that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So that's what we do as well in the Avenue program. We help business owners build assets and different type of assets so they can use them to work efficiently. So time freedom, also product freedom. I mean, that I can actually, if I get an idea, which I get a lot, so I can go out and test it. I don't have to be kind of I don't need to ask anybody. I can do whatever I want there. And if it works, it does. If it doesn't, then I can kill it. So I get to decide, and that's a kind of freedom for me. And as a family, it's also location freedom. We live in a beautiful place. We are looking to have another home in Spain. We go to Malaga, Marbella all the time. Well, not right now, but we look forward to going back again. So it's really about location freedom. So that is an alternative. If we want, we might want to. My husband would like to live in Finland for a while,
Yeah.
and that's also something that, well, we can if we want. And so it's a lot of different type, but of course income freedom, so I get to choose how much I make.
Yeah.
Decision freedom, so it's just a beautiful word for me, which means that I decide, and also it's my responsibility. It's not anybody else's responsibility. It's my responsibility. I take responsibility for everything, my decisions, and what comes after that. But that's a real freedom for me.
I mean, I can sense that you're a very driven person.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is it that is driving you? What motivates you to build this business, this life that you're living right now? Basically, in other words, what is your bigger why?
So I have my very personal why is to be able to have this wonderful life with my core team, which is my family. So that's my personal why. It doesn't get any fancier than that. We are a family who are we spend a lot of time together. We want to have this life where we can just decide maybe to go to Bali for 6 months or do things if we feel like that would be something that the family wants to do. So that is my personal why. That's what I build things the way I build them, so that we have this freedom of choice and we can do what we want. But also Avenue and what I'm building with Avenue, that's where we have much bigger why, and that is obviously beyond me, because that business is beyond me. We have a team of 10 plus people now. That is definitely beyond me. So my big vision with Avenue is to, first of all, just simplify the complex, because the more things are being created, all
Yeah.
online. And I mean, when I got started, there wasn't any online courses. I can't remember if there were YouTubes, but it was all very at the beginning of where we are now.
Yeah.
But things get super complex, and I see this happening with the people who we work with. For example, we work with CEOs and owners, and many times they are 45, 55, and they are really confused because they see all these kind of things that so-called kids are talking about, and they feel like, oh, I should be doing that, I should be doing that, or what if I missed, something. And for me, who has a really deep understanding and wide understanding of these things, I see it's my job to see what's happening, what's working, what's not working. So we just really simplify the complex and build real robust systems for our customers so they can feel relaxed and also have the freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so that's my that's the biggest driver for Avenue and for that my main business. But then also we have this our business model is that we do two things. So we coach and consult customers, but then we also license very, very brilliant people to become Avenue growth engineers. And they get to use all these cool tools and systems and that I built. Yeah. And they go out there and coach their customers. So I really see it in terms of when our clients win, our coaches win, and then we win as well. So everybody wins when we get together and set a standard for things and make this growth easier for them. Our coaches get to enjoy freedom because they have really good systems that they can plug into, and they don't need to think about all these complex things like product development and building frameworks that I do. And I love that because that's what I'm an engineer. So I love to build things. Yeah. They get to take these products and either ready-made products or tweak them, go and coach and consult their customers, and they win. Everybody wins. So that's my biggest driver.
Thanks for sharing that. That's really, really interesting to hear. And listening to you, I can sense, I can hear that you're super passionate about business, but you're also passionate about family.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to know is, what does Tiina do to get inspired? What does Tiina do to recharge? I mean, what do you do? People do read books, podcasts, or other people do exercise. I mean, what do you do?
So I have, I do read a lot of books, and right now, because I'm writing a book, so I do a lot of research, obviously. So, yeah. But I do love to read books. I'm always reading 2 books at the same time, which is probably not so good, but I do have books going on all the time. And then I listen to podcasts a lot. So I'm really, really big on listening to podcasts. And so that's where I get my kind of dose of inspiration and also information and my training. That's what I call my education. But also I also have a hobby because that business that I started first, that really killed my interest. That's home decor. That killed because I was so tired of that. It also killed my passion for interior design. And that was really sad moment for me because that has always been my biggest interest and passion. So now, some years later, when I feel that I have kind of recovered from that situation, if it was a loss or anyway, those feelings, now I have a huge passion for design, interior design, architecture, and that again. So that's, if I don't have any work, when I'm not working, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm reading a lot of interior design magazines. I follow the brands, what they are doing. Of course, I love to take those kind of what I see that they're doing, there's ideas to my job as well, but I like to separate that. That is my hobby and work is work.
Yeah, and it's interesting that your hobby is sort of leaning to possibly become some kind of business again, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, that's the secret I have.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I think that I create brands and I create concepts, and some of them work, and then I monetize them or I sell them, or some of them don't work and then I just kill them. But I love to create new. I'm a creator. I'm not so much of somebody who is focusing on the like maintaining and maintenance, and that's a little bit of bad as well, but I do have other people who take care of that. So for me, of course, I'm also looking at, since I love the industry and I would love to do something. So I do have some projects going on in this design space as well.
Yeah.
But it's just that I know so much more about business modeling, profitability, what I want, what I don't want. I know more now than I did 4 years ago when I got started. So now, if I would go into that business, that industry, I would build a different type of business. It would be a little bit different type of monetization model and so on. But yeah, I'm sure there will be something like that coming as well.
Yeah. Tiina, we have people listening to this podcast that are at a place where they have a business, but within the business they basically have a job. They've created a job for themselves, and they are exploring the idea. I mean, I want to grow my business. Have you got maybe one sort of tip or idea what they need to be focusing on to start moving on forward in that journey?
Absolutely, building assets.
Building assets. Can you give me a little bit more about what does that look like, building assets?
Absolutely. So at Avenue, we talk about building 8 different type of assets. Some of these are something that you can build, and some of them are something that you can maybe acquire, or you are intentionally focusing on these. So we have product assets, we've got brand assets, audience assets. We talk about client acquisition assets. And that's the funny assets. That's usually people feel like, oh, I love to focus on those. But we also have other assets. We have people assets, management assets, capital assets, and technology assets. And what I mean with this building assets is that you should always see that if you have a business that you're doing, for example, service deliveries, that is a great way to get started. I'm not saying it's a great way to get started, but eventually at some point you have to start building different type of business model so that these services can still be delivered the way you want, but it's not in direct connection with your time, because time is something that we cannot get more of. Money, we can always get more. Time, we cannot get more. How we try, at least now, I don't know, maybe we could do that in 100 years. We can't get more time. Time is time. So in terms of thinking about, for example, if you do something consistently, always doing something, you need to create an asset that can be used so that it can be reused many times. And products also, we love to do product packaging or like service packaging for our service-based business clients. So if they are, for example, doing one-on-one work, then we help them to put together their own intellectual property, their products that are highly scalable, highly leveraged, that they actually can sell that as a product with a fixed price, fixed delivery scope, fixed delivery time, and so on. And that is a perfect product to sell, because that is something that you can scale if you want to, and it's not directly connected to how much effort you're putting. But of course, it requires work first. And this is where I see, this is actually where many people come to us. They say, listen, I've been doing really good for years. Now I want different. Many times they want to have more time and freedom. They want to have more money. They don't want to lose that. But so this is like equation, which sometimes is really difficult. And then when we start looking, okay, how are we going to do this? They are so busy in the delivery mode. They don't have time for the change. So this is,
Well, building assets. Good. I'll add that to my list. That's good. We got connected because I think we're both part of Superfast Business. We're both members in that community run by James Franco. How has it been helpful for you to be part of that community?
Well, it's been amazing, and I love James, and I'm a very big James fan, so I will be there forever. So, yeah, but I think it is so important to surround yourself with other people, big thinkers, people who are doing things, learning from other people, asking for advice, and there are a lot of free groups, a lot of different Facebook places where you can go to.
Yeah.
But does it really help you? I don't think so. And I don't have time. I'm a busy woman, and I'm not trying to make myself super busy with work, but I do life, kids, interests, and just love to enjoy life and not be somewhere like 24/7. So I absolutely appreciate that the fact that there are other people who are very focused on building their businesses, and they're helpful, and but it's also a place where it's just not a lot of like people who don't really have don't take action. So if you are going to, you need to have a community, but you need to find the right type of community and right type of people who you enjoy to kind of share your ideas with and enjoy them.
All right, Tiina, I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
It's just the energy that you have. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to just take a deeper look into your business and into your system. And I can't wait for your book, The Essentials, to come out.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited about it. Yeah.
First of many, and I will put all the sort of places where people can go in the show notes. But is there one question that you think, there might not be any question, but is there one question that you said, Erik, I wish you would have asked me that one because I would have answered it like this?
Well, not so much of a question. I was just thinking here, I was having another conversation with also a fellow entrepreneur, and we had this really good conversation about, this was particularly for people who are getting started. I'm sure you also have some people in your audience who are thinking about getting started with their business, and they just kind of don't know that, it's difficult. I would like to give this tiny bit of an advice, which I did not get when I got started, but now I can give it to other people. And here's the thing, start anyway, and start with whatever you have, because your end game is going to look very different than your start game. So I think it's, people are waiting and waiting for the best idea and the moment and all those things, and it will never come. I think entrepreneurship and building business is something that, like any job, is you learn all the time. And the first business that you start with is most likely not the business that you're going to run 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later. So I think if people would just get started and have their first try business, like this is what I tried with, and it could be so that they hit like the bullseye right away, but more often they don't. At least all my friends who are entrepreneurs, they're most of them are doing something else than what they got started with. So if people are kind of waiting for the perfect idea, waiting for all those things, don't, just get started with what you have, do something, and then you will learn when you grow your brand and your business if something works or not. And then most likely you will get some other ideas, and then either they will live together, or maybe something will have to give and something else will
absolutely
rebirth. Yeah,
absolutely. I remember my wife at some point, I drove her crazy with all the first businesses. I had about 22 business ideas that I was trying to work out, until you finally hit that one that hits home, and that is connected with you as a person, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I would like to know, can you remind me again, before we say goodbye, what the name of your business is, the web address where people can go to find more about you, find out more about your business, and also if they want to reach out to you just to say thank you for this interview, or if they have questions about your business, where can they find you?
Thank you. So I think the best is to go to avenuegrowthsystem.com, avenuegrowthsystem.com, because you can get a really good overview of the system, how it looks like, if that would be interesting for you to see how this growth system looks like. What am I supposed to be doing next, and what do I do first, and so forth. So that's where they can go and learn more about this system. If they would like to get in touch with me, so I'm on Instagram, and I also like LinkedIn a lot. So if you would like to get in touch with me, maybe LinkedIn would be the best place to just add me. If you do that, please send me a message that you came through Erik's podcast, so I know, and just we can chat through that. So that would be the best way to get in touch with me.
Fantastic, Tiina. Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, and for your knowledge and your passion and your energy. I feel my day is brighten up.
It's a good Friday, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So have a really good day, and I look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.